So Logan, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on being our July Associate Spotlight.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity that I have.
Can you give me a little background on who Logan White is and then how long you've been with Adafio and what you do for us?
Yeah, of course. My name is Logan White. I'm from Conway, Arkansas. I've lived here my whole life. Went to UCA. I just graduated in May. It's a computer information systems and analytics degree. How I worked for Adafio for a little over a year now. Started back in May of 2021 when I was an intern up until a week after I graduated, and then I started here full time.
What does your job entail?
We manage pretty much all of the technological stuff around Conway Regional, whether, we manage everyone's computers, printers, and we just basically offer a customer service for the hospital in every way that we can.
And is that part of what you did when you were an intern too? Or coming on board, did you feel like you were ready and prepared? Didn't feel like there was any?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I'd say I got handed a little bit more. When I was an intern, I didn't have full access to everything and some of the things that I have access to now, and I just had more of a responsibility. But I definitely feel like the internship process shaped me to be more than ready for full time.
Tell me, what do you like most about your job?
I like pretty much everything about it. If I had to list something specific, I'd say that I really just like how close we all are here. I feel like we all have a great communication. No one really feels bad at being like, hey, I don't really know how to do this. Can you help me out? And then someone's always able to, show you if you don't know. We are all just, super close. And I just feel like that's probably my favorite part about it, is just having that team bond, just being so strong with all of us.
The morale and the energy there, it seems to just continue to improve. And so something, whatever it is, if they could replicate it, but it sounds like it's thriving.
Yeah, and the office isn't very big, so it's kind of like you either are going to have to like each other or you're going to want to rip each other's heads off. So we just kind of make ends meet, and just we all get along really well.
That's wonderful. Did you always want to be in IT, or if you could think of another career choice, what would you do if it wasn't this?
So when I actually got into college, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had a really serious injury in high school to my knee and went through physical therapy. And I kind of decided, I was like, I want to do, physical therapy. I would love to be able to help somebody before recovery. And then they changed it to a doctorate. And I was like, well, I don't think I want to do that. And so then I was like, my mom, actually, she was just like, well, why don't you start with business and then you can go from there. And then I actually had a professor, he was like, you would really like MIS. And I was like, okay, and I looked into it and I was like, this is perfect.
When you're not working, what do you like to do?
I really like to go to the gym. I work out with my brother every day. Actually, at Conway Regional.
Really?
We work out every day together. Really like spending time with my friends and my family. And then I have a girlfriend of almost 3 years, and I really enjoy spending time with her as well.
What kind of stuff do you guys do at the gym? Are you doing the weights? Tell me your gym.
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's a little mix up. I kind of let him take the charge because he's just like the gym rat guy. He's still young and in college.
Okay.
So he's rattling off things that he sees. He's like, let's try this or let's try that. And some days I'm like, I don't really want to do that. That seems a little too bodybuilder-ish for me. So I'll let you do that, and I'll just do like cardio. Yeah, we do pretty much a lot of everything. Not too hard, but just enough to stay in like
every day.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good
job to keep that. No, I know it is that to have that discipline. But I do think when you start at your age and you continue to do it, I think it somewhat becomes like muscle memory and ingrained in you, where you make that a priority. I think your day and your quality of output at work and your quality of just attitude, I think everything improves.
And it was one of those things that it was kind of hard to get into the routine, like I said. But now it's like I get off work and it's like, okay, I cannot do anything else until I go do this.
I love that. And you do it with your brother.
Yes.
And what's the age difference between the two of you? Just curious.
He just turned 20, so he is about 2.5 years younger.
Younger. Yeah. I'm always curious about age differences because there's, siblings don't always get along, but when you do find some that do, I'm always curious to know, is there age difference? Is there like a certain peak? But it doesn't really matter, I guess. It's, you guys just get.
We didn't get along for a long time. It was more of like the older we got, and then we had no choice but to just kind of hang out with each other. And so it just kind of developed into this bond. It's brothers a built-in best friend. And I've got a sister too, but she's 12 years younger than me, so we're not as close, but I still love her dearly. So.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like you're an uncle to her to a degree because of the age difference.
Yeah, when she
So,
graduates high school, I'm gonna be 32. So I'm like, oh, I know.
yeah, that's crazy to think, isn't it? Just
It's
how
wild.
time is fleeting. So just enjoy
Mhm.
every minute of it all the
Right.
time is what I'm
Ab-
always trying to remember.
Absolutely.
Do you have a fun fact about yourself that maybe none of us know?
I would just say something that I like about myself is that I don't necessarily ever meet a stranger. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
personable and can kind of just talk to anyone, at any point. I mean, at first I'm kind of shy, but that's just me trying to like feel and like figure out which kind of myself I need to be, because
Yeah.
like I have not necessarily different personalities, but I just have a different way that I act around certain people. But I just think that's one thing that I like about myself is that I don't necessarily have anyone that I ever would consider a stranger, even if they really are. I mean, I can still just talk to them and it won't ever
Yeah.
necessarily be awkward.
That's a great quality. And I can and Logan, I could sense that even because we haven't actually had many opportunities to know each other.
Right.
But just through your email exchange, you're just so pleasant and really friendly. Because even at my age, we're always meeting new people, but you make it less anxiety. There's just it's more
Yeah.
open. So you
Well,
do
I
have
really
that
appreciate that.
quality.
It's always good to
So
hear.
it's true. And having that ability to meet and talk to strangers and people of different backgrounds is a huge it's an important asset. Do you have a favorite place in the world that you love? I mean,
Um,
at your young age of 22, I
yeah,
know you've got a lot of living left to do.
I love going to the beach.
You do. Yeah.
It was one of those things that whenever I was younger, I didn't really like it, but the older I got, I was like, oh, this is like really relaxing and just nice to just get away. And I learned to just, I guess it was more of like I learned to appreciate a vacation rather than just like, oh,
Yeah.
like this is a week away from all my friends and missing out on stuff. And now I love the lakes and just really just stuff like that. I love
So,
going and doing that.
like being with water. Yeah.
Essentially, sort of. Yeah, it's not. I have a love-hate relationship with it, especially the ocean. I'm not a huge fan of that. Won't go out past where I can see my
Okay.
feet.
Sure.
Yeah, I love the water.
But I'm with you too. And my kids, they're still relatively young, but when it comes to where they would want a vacation, the beach is not necessarily their top
Yeah,
choice. And I
that's a good
think it
call out
seems
there.
like it's like overrated to them. It's like it's a lot of sand and it's salty and it just gets everywhere. And I'm like, well, I'm not opposed to not going
Yeah,
if we can find somewhere else. But just interesting as we grow, we can start to see that there's a sense of calmness that it brings you to that
sure.
repetition of the waves and the sunset and just being there. You don't necessarily have to play in it. You can just kind of observe it from afar.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
peaceful.
yeah. Of course.
Do you have a personal mantra or a motto or words that you live by that kind of keep you on that steady path?
That's a tough one. I
Yeah.
don't. If I had to say one for the sake of just having one, something that's a really good one to live by is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just take
Yeah.
a chance. It might not work out how you want it to, but that's okay. At least you can say at the end of the day that you tried. I feel like that's the biggest thing, trying at least. I feel like that's went hand in hand with my life in a lot of ways. Just at least making the effort to let somebody know, or for yourself to just have the peace of knowing that you tried.
It reminds me of a book. It's called The Year of Yes, where you just say yes to every opportunity and you see where it
Right.
can take you rather than be resistant, but maybe be
Yeah.
more open. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Wow. That is really great.
maybe, you got to be particular about, have boundaries as far as what that yes is. But
Yeah.
you get my drift that there's
Yeah.
more opportunity for saying yes to things. And I think even, oh, I could be wrong. Maybe Warren Buffett actually said you become more successful the more when you learn to say no. However, we're not Warren Buffett and he's lived a long life.
Yeah.
So at this point in
Yeah.
time, you say yes, and then
You
eventually
say
you
yes
get the
to what?
chance to
Yeah.
say no.
Exactly. Maybe someday.
Who or what made you smile today?
I've really just the whole team
Yeah.
comes in. It's a Monday morning and it's draggy, and you still wish the weekend was going, and then you come in and you got guys cracking jokes at 8:30 in the morning, and you're just like, okay, there's no sense in being this grumpy or not enjoying it. Just making it fun, I feel like is if everybody had the same attitude on a Monday morning, I feel like it would be terrible.
Right.
Everybody
But
spent their
somehow
life.
there's others
Yeah,
that can.
somehow or another, the team as a whole, they can make it fun.
Do you guys do things like do you have team outings? Do you guys get together and see each other after hours ever?
So it's funny that you are asking that now. We just started like 2 weeks ago on Wednesdays. We're going to go to JJ's because they have a trivia night. And
Yes.
or we've started to do that and we go Wednesday nights and do the trivia night and compete and stuff as a team outside of the office too.
That's great. So we used to do something like that here For some of us to go Wednesday nights to trivia would be taking away from family time or whatever. But when
Yeah.
you have that camaraderie and that time together outside of the office, it's so great, especially when you can bring like knowledge into it, like quiz,
Yeah.
being able to test each other's intelligence and laugh
Yeah.
about it. And that's
It's it,
fantastic.
it's hard to do for some of the guys because a couple of them are married and they have kids, and so they can only get away for like about an hour ish. But that's
Yeah.
still, an hour
Hey,
outside of the office.
I only have one other question for you. Everybody at Adafio has a story of what brought them here. And then if you wouldn't mind telling me yours, and then if you could expand a little bit on the internship portion as well.
Yeah, of course. I came into college and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had always had like a technical background, like in my family. If anything was broken, I was the one getting called. My grandmas, they were the ones that did it the most. I'd get a call from them on Saturday at 3 p.m. They're like, "Oh, well, this isn't working." I go fix it and kind of try to show them how to, like, if it happens again, like this is how you fix it. But I didn't really think about that going into college. I didn't really know where I wanted to go. When I got to the point where I had to decide, I would hopefully have a little bit of a better idea. So I declared originally to be physical therapy. As of that did not go through, I went to a couple of the classes and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want to do. After that, my mom, Amy Beam, she's like, try business. I think that you'll find what you want to do there. And I was like, okay. So I declared business, and then one of my professors class, and he kind of told me to look into MIS, which is now CISA. And so I declared that, and I went through about a year of doing classes, and then I got an opportunity to interview with Kevin Jordan and Ryan Brown for an internship with Adafio at Carl Regional, and I wasn't necessarily scared. I was more of just worried that my inexperience with everything because this is way more technical than I've worked with, and so I was worried that I wouldn't translate well, or like they would figure out that my inexperience would make me not good for the job.
Sure.
But I thank both of them to the end. They took a chance with me. I mean, I came in, and that first day was it was terrifying. I was being told so many things, and I was like, I have no idea. Asking and just having a supportive team behind you and boss and just everyone around being so supportive, it made it really easy. I never thought I'd be a year into this and just feel so much better about coming into work, not being as nervous about things. And there's still stuff I still don't know. I'll admit. I mean, there's times where
Sure.
something comes up and I don't know, but I'm not worried about it. I know how to do troubleshooting skills. I know how to, work through things now. And I just think that was good to just get that confidence that I'd never, in the beginning, was worried I'd never would have.
So I would say that the internship provided you with skills of finding your confidence that became more accessible to you because you've got people there that are empowering you and supporting you, knowing that if you don't have the answers, you can ask your team. Yeah.
And I think in my year, it's been a little over a year since I've been here now. I've learned more than I probably learned in my COVID years of school. Just being able to actually work and be hands-on and physically be taught how to do things, whether that's Ryan taking me somewhere, showing me, telling me he's with me, and he's like, all right, this is what you do. I'm going to walk you through, but you're going to do it. That way you remember it next time, rather than my professor telling me through a computer screen how to take notes for the next exam. And so I just think it was great. I'm not saying I didn't learn anything in school, not at all. I mean, I went 4 years. Obviously, I got to at least say I learned something. It turned out to be just such a great opportunity that I'm beyond blessed to have had.
And if you could, is there any special skill set that you feel that it takes to go into this field? Or do you think if anybody that's perhaps looking to explore, is it now CISA? What would you say to them?
I'd say the best advice, just, at least give it a shot, because you might get in there and, like I did with physical therapy, realize it was nothing that I wanted to do, because there's so many things that you don't know that actually go on in the computer world and, the IT world, and just all the technology that goes on. There's so much behind it that you don't see, that if, you're just using the computer for the company you work for, you don't realize like how much goes on with everything behind the scenes. And I think just me even learning that was just kind of the thing that interested me more. Working with it through my internship, I think made me more interested in my classes, because it made it feel like the classes weren't necessarily leading to nothing. They actually translated to real world stuff. And so I was actually able to use a lot of the stuff I learned in some of my classes in my work here. So it was great. everything went hand in hand. I think just taking the chance, but it was because people had faith in me, and they knew that eventually that things would work out. And if they didn't, that was okay.
As they say, what's the worst that can happen? Well,
Yeah,
you didn't get it, but at least you tried. Like you say,
exactly.
100% chances of not doing it, well, you're not going to succeed versus
Exactly.
saying yes and doing it. Well, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're continuing to learn. And now you're going to be able to mentor those that are coming in as interns
Yeah.
and share that same experience, because you've got that side that not everybody has of being the intern now full time. And then you
Yeah.
can help be the, the torchbearer and pass it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
That knowledge.
I'm really excited for the opportunity, and I'm just grateful that I'm still here. It's been fun.
Well, thank you, Logan, for your time. Is there anything you'd like to part with before we end our call?
Oh man, I guess like I said a minute ago, never give up and take chances, because you never know how much they might work out.
Yeah. And don't ever doubt, right? And if you
Yeah.
do, know that there's people around there that are going to cheer you on. So having a
yeah.
good support system is important.
Absolutely.
Well, have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
So wonderful to get to talk to you, and hopefully I'll get to see you face to face soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, thank you for your time as well.
Yeah. All right. Have a great one. Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.